Okay, Birshut Kala Kadosh, everybody welcome. Be'ezrat Hashem, B'zchut HaLimud, a shiur that we're learning in the Hakdama and the Kabbalah. שבעזרת השם לעם ישראל הצלחה, ברכה, שיבטל כל הגזרות לעם ישראל, שרק בשורות טובות, כל המלחמות, שיבטלו, שימתק את כל הדינים, שיחזרו את החטופים והחטופות בשלום בעזרת השם, and all the soldiers should return to their houses with tranquility. וכן ירצון ורומר אמן. So we continue with our Otzrot Chaim. You could share with him. You could continue with the Otzrot Chaim in our book. We spoke about, we have a 10 Sfirot, which is the 10 Sfirot, Keter Chma Binah, Chesed Gvura Teferet, Netzach Hod Yisod Malchut. To them corresponds Arich, Abba, Ima, Zav, Enuk. So we continue over here, Shinoda She'akadosh Baruch Hu bara arba olamot nikraim Atzilut Bria Yetzira Asiya. And I'm on page Nun Hey, 55. Says we know Akadosh Baruch Hu was created 4 worlds. It's called Atzilut Bria Yetzira Asiya. We're going to tell them, we're going to right away, we're going to elaborate what does it mean, these names, and how they correspond with us. Atzilut Bria Yetzira Asiya, Bakitzur, in a shorter version, we could say Abiya. So everywhere you're going to see Abiya, it represents Atzilut Bria Yetzira Asiya. Or sometimes we could say Biya, which is mean Bria Yetzira Asiya, like you see in a parenthesis. Kneged hem kneged arba otiot shel shem havaya. So they also corresponds to the 4 letters of Yud Ke Vav Ke. Yud Ke Vav Ke. Yud represents Atzilut. Hey Rishona represents Bria. Vav represents Yitzira. Vehe Achrona represents Asiya. What does it mean as it represents? We're gonna get to the little bit in depth of it. So when we're gonna talk about Yud, I'm gonna always Olam Atzilut. I'm gonna talk about Hey. I'm gonna talk about Olam Bria. Vav Olam Yitzira. Hey Olam Ha-Asiya, which is Hey Achrona. V'nei Olamot Atzilut kulo Elokut kulo Kodesh en shum ta'arovet tov ra. He says we have to know Olam Atzilut. Atzilut milashon Atzil, which is means complete, completion. There's no good and there's no bad, which is means shum ta'arovet ra, only tov, only good. Okay. Va'alav nemar lo yigur chara. And this is in a pasuk in the Tehillim says, nothing bad is in Olam Atzilut. Va'olam HaBriya niklama Olam HaKiseh, shisham Kiseh v'Kavod. It says Olam HaBriya is so called the throne of the Hashem, is Olam HaBriya. V'sham HaMalachim nekraim Serafim. And over there is the angels, it's called Serafim. We didn't elaborate on them because that's not what we're learning now. V'sham HaTchilat Achizat Klipot. And from there starts the negative form of the energy, start attaching to them, which means attaching, which is they draw the energy from the positive. So once they draw the energy from the positive, they have a chayut, they have to sustain the life. So once we would take it out, take the chayut out, which means take the life force from them away. Our person gives them the life force anyways. The only way a life force was given to the klipa, which means to the negative energy, we call Yetzer Hara, you call all 7 names, like the Gemara says. You call those energy, the only way was created by the sin of the person. The more person sins, the more energy he pumps to them. So the more energy he pumps to them, the more they come against him. Depression, anxiety, you name it, not happy, he's so down in his life, everything that he has. That's everything becomes negativity that he created by his own energy.
So if he withdraws more positive, if they withdraw the positive way, they have more negative.
We're going to say what means positive. How we're going to draw the positive. So a person says, I like the people say, let's think positive thinking or positive speech. The only way able to have that dichia, which means pushing away and stop giving the life force, the only way is by Torah, mitzvot, or ma'asim tovim. So we must do Torah. This is the only remedy. We must do mitzvot, ma'asim. There's no other way. Other way, think positive. We're going to think positive. We're going to do positive. Motivation speaking, whatever you want to say, it's not going to help. Because the Chazal is fixing not the branches where the problem is. The branches become rotten. The Chazal all the time gives to the roots. If the roots are rotten, the stem, the trunk, and the branches are rotten. Where does it come from? From the root. So our sages all the time, and throughout the Kabbalah, all the time we go to the shoresh of the root. If there's no root to it, like the goyim, they're only able to fix a person through the branches, which means temporarily relieve or release, so-called. So the goyim does not have those tools. Even though we have so much technology, doctors, psychologists, whatever you want to call it, it still cannot be comparison of what we're going to learn right now. So let's go forward. So Shama Tchilat Achizak Klipa. So from there, from Olam Abriya, it's already starting the Olam, that little bit Klipa you have over there, that start your neck, which is means he will draw the energy. But it's most of it Tov v'Kedusha. That means the challenge is not so great in that gray area of Olam Abriya. Mi'ud Rava Klipa. Like we said it, a little bit not good, and a so-called negative force. Olam HaYetzirah nikram Olam HaMalachim. Olam HaYetzirah is called the world of the angels. Shisham Malachim nikraim Chayot HaKodesh. Over there, the holy Chayot. V'tov Arashu HaKedusha v'hem mechza al-mechza. Olam HaYetzirah, we have a 50-50. That's where Etz HaDa'at Tov lo tochal mimenu. Etz HaDa'at Tov v'ra. You should not eat from the tree of the wisdom of the good and bad. So Olam HaYetzirah comes Olam HaMechza in Mechza, which means 50 not good, 50 is good. Mu'aravim b'zeh b'zeh. The mix, which means I could be religious, but at the same time I could do whatever I want to do. Mu'aravim, which means also confusion. Which way should I go? Should I go on a Torah or mitzvot? Or should I go to the weddings and the beaches and everything, all the ta'avot, all the desires? Mix is still that person, Olam HaYetzirah.
This is this one?
This world. Also this world. Olam HaYasiyah Ruchani nikra Olam HaOfanim. Shesham Malachim nikraim Ofanim. So Olam HaAsiyah is considered Ofanim. V'sham Hara Meruba Alatov. He says Olam HaAsiyah, which is we the world in the Olam HaAsiyah. In that world, it's mixed, and most of it is not good. Not good. The impurity is greater than a kedusha. ואין שם דבר בעולם העשייה, ואין שום דבר בעולם העשייה שלא יהיה מורכב מקדושה וקליפה מעורבת יחד ממש. So it says, עולם העשייה, it's so mixed in, and it's so confusion. אחר כך נברא עולם העשייה גשמי כלל מהעד היסודות. He says, afterwards we have עולם הגשמי, which represents Arma, which means Maim Esh Ruach Afar, which means water, fire, so-called Ruach, which is wind, or you want to call it Ruach, which is called something that is a breath, the air that you person takes, and Afar with the Ayin, which means the earth. It also represents 4 worlds, or Olam HaHavaya, which is Yud-Ke Vav-Ke. And we have 5 bechinot. We have 5 levels of Nikraim Milimata Lemala, from the bottom to the top. Nefesh Ruach Neshama Chaya Yichida. Ze Bakitzur, ze in a shorter version, is considered Nefesh Ruach Neshama Chaya Yichida, which is called Narnachi. Nefesh Ruach Neshama Chaya Yichida. So we have Nefesh Ruach Neshama Chaya Yichida. Or from upstairs, Yichida Chaya Neshama Ruach V'Nefesh. So we have 5 dvarim, 5 things. Those 5 things corresponds to Olam Ha'adam Kadmon, which is higher than Olam HaAtzilut. Then comes Olam HaAtzilut Chaya. Then Neshama comes Olam HaBriya. Olam HaAsiyah comes Olam HaYetzirah. Olam HaYetzirah comes into the Ruach. Olam HaNeshama considered Nefesh, Olam HaAsiyah. So we have Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya Yechidah. So when a person says my Neshama or anything, we have a Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya Yechidah, which is Narnachi. It's called Olam HaAsiyah, Olam HaYetzirah, Olam HaBriya, Olam HaAtzilut. They have Nefesh, Ruach, or Adam Katmon. They have Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya Yechidah. There is no world that does not exist with Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya Yechidah. So for example, if a person is a frum Jew, everything, he could be Neshama of Olam HaYetzirah. but the other person will be much greater than him. He could be Nefesh Olama Briya. So what's greater? Of course, the Nefesh Olama Briya are going to be much greater than the Neshama of Olama Yitzira. Why? Because he's in a higher world, but it's in a lower level of the higher world. But it's in a lower world and a higher level. So when a person says, I have an extra neshama, or I'm going to get a neshama, so that has to be, depends on a mitzvot, Shara Gilgulim, black and white, says how a person able to get those complete of nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya yichida. So also he's not able to come as a Gilgul again to this world, which means reincarnation. So that depends on how much mitzvot he does, how much striving his mitzvot, how much he's willing to do mitzvot. That all depends on the nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya yichida. It all depends on a person level of how he does the mitzvot, and also how he's learning the Torah, and how he's also doing kindness, binut chasadim. That would able to bring him in nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya yichida. Only through these things a person able to la'asik, which means to grasp with nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya yichida. Okay, so also we learn chamisha v'chen yishanim yichida v'hem kneged arba otiyot havaya v'kotzo shel yud. So nefesh, I'm going to go from down up. Nefesh represents hey achrona. Ruach represents vav, which is of the yud ke vav ke. Neshama represents the hey rishona. Yud represents yud of the yud ke vav ke, represents the chaya. The Yichida is going to be Kotzod the Yud. Kotzod the Yud, which just means the little Yud is on top of the Yud Ke Vav Ke. Od tzarich ata leda'at ki ikar hatam sheshalach HaKadosh Baruch Hu nishmat b'nei Yisrael le'olam hazeh. He says, you have to also know one thing. Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu send the nishamot, which just means the souls of Jewish nation, to this world? What is the reason? Kedei levarer nitzutzin ha'kedushin. In order for us to do birur, which means solidification between good and bad. That's the whole point we came to this world. Naflu ben klipot. He says the holy souls fell down to the klipa, which just means to the negative force. So al yedei chet adam harishon v'al yedei shar hasibot. He says one of the reason is the sin of the Adam harishon, and there's also, it's called elu malachim malchu ba'eretz Edom. There's another sin that they did. They did not do tikkun. Adam Rishon is supposed to do tikkun on them. So like Masechet Chayga, it says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu bara olamot. He was creating the worlds and he was destroying them. How many generations? Tatkat Dorot, 974 generation. So that 974, they would not. So you're going to ask me a question: who they are? What they are? Were they humans? They were angels? What they were? They all were humans. Not the humans the way we understand and we the way we look. They are that they want to all the time rebel against Hashem. What are you talking about? They came, reincarnation, because of the Adam Rishon. Let's go back. Adam Rishon is supposed to come and fix it. He didn't fix it, so he ate from the tree, good and bad. So they come in as a reincarnation, Dora Mabul, in a flood. They want to be always, if you see all these people, all these big giants the Torah speaks about, Rashaim, Pharaoh, Nebuchadnezzar, Haman, correct? All these Rashaim that they come from that generation. They come reincarnation. What's the reason for them to come? Each time they reincarnate, they always want to act like God. So they want to act like Hashem. What's the point of acting like Hashem? Torah Plaga, what's the point? They want to be in rule. They want to be in power. Nimrod, what they want to do? Marad ba'Hashem. Marad, which just means he wants to rebel against Hashem. So if that's the case, all these souls need to come all the time. And they're going to be in power all the time. They're always striving for power. Presidency, governments, running the world, controlling the population. So all these Tatkat Dorot, which just means they come through this generation, 974, they come through us, through the Jews. We not need to be right now solidification between us and them. We have to know the difference. So the Zohar calls them Negara. They're one of the Chamesh Sugi Shela Erev Rav. They're going to be 5. They're going to look sometimes religious, Chas v'Shalom. That's what it says. Sometimes there could be Rosh Yeshiva, unfortunately. And there could be those Erev Rav coming from those generations. And they could be in a body also, because they naflu ba klipa, because they fell down to the klipa. So it's good and bad. They're doing Torah mitzvot, and the opposite they're doing. Controlling, being in power. So, על ידי חטא אדם הראשון ועוד שאר הסיבות. היינו, על ידי שבני ישראל עוסקים בתורה. So when we're learning Torah. והתפילות מצוות מעשים טובים. When we're doing tefillot, praying, מעשים טובים. When we do good deeds. הם מבררים את ניצוצות הקדושים. He says, this is the ניצוצות, which just means the holy sparks. We're able to differentiate every time when we do mitzvot ma'asim tovim or learning. We will separate from good and bad, which is good and bad is mixed. We're going to separate them. So this is the biggest punchline in the whole Kabbalah. The whole avodatenu, the whole our job, levarer nitzutzot hakodesh, which just means to solidification of nitzutzot hakodesh, which just means separating between good and bad. When we're separating good and bad, that's how we're able to la'alot nitzutzot hakodesh, which just means the holy spark, to the shorsham, which just means to the essence where they come from, because they got naflu baklipa every day. When Rabbi, I did it yesterday, the mitzvah of tefillin. What's the difference between today and yesterday? What's the difference tomorrow? What's the difference on Shabbat? Is the same Shabbat, chas v'shalom? It's the same day. No, I'm sorry to tell you guys, it's not the way it works. The world broke down to 6,000 years. The 6,000, first year is a chesed, first 1,000 years is a chesed, the next 1,000 years is a gvura, the third year, the third 1,000 years is a tferet. We're right now in a isod, so we're in a 6,000 year. So because what's the difference that they did in the first? First was chesed, so they did different birur. They did birur, solidification, but every day is a different. So 6,000 years broke down to chesed, gvura, tferet, netzachot, isod. We're in a 6,000. 5,784. The years even break down to the sfira of what kind of sfira we're supposed to be work. The 7 days broke down to chesed, gvura, tferet. First day is the chesed. Gvura is the second. Okay? The third is a tferet. The fourth is a chesed, gvura, tferet, netzach. Then hod. Then shishi, yisod. Then shabbat is malchut. So what's the problem? I did this last week. You didn't do this last week. Because the month broke down to 4 parts. First week, second, third, fourth. First week is a Abba. Second week is a Ima. Third week is a Za. The fourth week is Malchut. So this is different birur. Whatever we did last week is Ba'avur Abba, break down Chesed, Gvura, Tferet. Today we're in the first day of the Tevet, right? First day of Tevet. So it's going to be Abba. So the Abba of that, so the first 6 months, it represents Zachar, Za. The 6th last month, which is during the summertime, it represents Nakeva. So the first month is Tishrei, is going to be Chesed. The second month is going to be Gvura. The third month is going to be Tferet. So we doing on a Tferet. Today is the Abba, which just means on a third month. But we already did Chesed. So it's different birur every day. It's for us, it's considered, it's the same thing. We got used to it. That's it, we're doing the mitzvot. But we're doing birurim chadashim. Af pam, we never did in our lives. 1 minute. We never did in our lives because every day is a different sfira. It's working different sfira. You're working in the different parts of him. Yes?
No, you ask first.
The times for chesed and right now we saw. You said that limud Torah. How was, I guess limud Torah was different chesed time?
That birur, what you did, let's say there's a tovara. It's mixed. The whole world is mixed with tovara. That's why we have all this shara bitachon, shara emunah, Torah, mitzvot, so that would separate us from that tov vara. It would give us a tov, vara would separate it. Right? So that we did, that chesed we did. But sometimes, unfortunately, the wars come in. The unfortunates come in. The reason is because we don't do enough birur. We don't do enough solidification between good and bad. So now the judgment needs to come in, which is the klipa. So that's why all these things happening. There's a reason why it's happening. Because we come here to avodah, to work. But we're getting relaxed. If we're getting relaxed, we're not doing enough birur. So that's the problem becomes. So that's why the negative. If we would have done everything properly, this negativity would not come. All these things that klipa comes in, whatever in the form of Hamas, Amalek, whatever you want to call it, It's everything klipa. The klipa right now is right now because we didn't do enough birur. The klipa right now go against us.
So lifetime would not be.
And it will if we do a proper thoughts, proper transactions, proper do mitzvot on time. No motivation of self-interest motivations. So that happened to the Am Yisrael. We as a collective. So we as a collective, we have to do as a collective. If we don't do as a collective, that means there's an error, something is missing. That means we're not doing enough. If we would have done enough, the klipa would not come. So all the World War I, World War II, everything, the Am Yisrael, everything this world was created for Am Yisrael, for us to do this birur. Go ahead, you have a question.
I had a question was that you said that every day we do something new because of the month, the day.
Right.
But you also said, that the 1,000 years we're in the same cycle, right? So that means this year technically was the same as last year, no?
No.
Today, no, it's not.
No. So
Also,
and Yom Domeh lechaverta. There is no day is the same as was yesterday. Yesterday was what? Yesterday, if we're talking about Wednesday, right? Today was Wednesday, right? So Chesed Gvura Tiferet, Netzach. We're in a Netzach. Today was a tonight. Vahi Erev. Already in a Hod.
So what about exactly a year ago? Because we're in the same 1,000 cycles.
Right. So the year broke down to Chesed Gvura Tiferet Netzach Hod Yisod Malchut. So we also break down to 7, 8 to the Keter Chuma Binah Chesed Gvura Tiferet.
With that 1,000 years.
Without 1,000 years, correct. So every day is something new that we did that we never did in our life. So that's why Shacharit, Mincha, Aravit, it sounds the same, it looks the same, everything is the same. But we're doing the same birurim. We being aware, the reason we need to know all these things, because we're going to be aware what we're doing. When we're aware what we're doing, we get more attached to it and we're able to be more responsible for it. It's not just what the Anshe Knesset that did and that's it and this. We have a time over here. We have a limit. 6,000 years is the limit. And that limit needs to be an hour. It's in a bank. It's a tic-tac. It's a, not tic-tac. It's a ticking time that is constantly ticking and ticking and ticking. It's just either the klipa will come in. Definitely it would push away everything that the person does. Or we are able to push away with the mitzvot, the ma'asim tovim, everything that the Chazal tell us, that's the way we're able to push away.
Why you say last year we did something we didn't do this year? Like
Birur, which just means whatever I did last year,
right.
Okay, it's not the same as I did this year. Example. So let's say I prayed last year in Yom Kippur or Rosh Hashanah.
Right.
It's not the same Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah because every day is a new birur, which just means new simplification that we never did in this life. So tonight, whatever we're doing, we're never going to do it. So the more person does a day with the 24 hours, 7 days a week, the more person does, the more he's able to solidification between Tov Vara. Okay? So same thing is when Arizal is asking a question, if the neshama never needs a food, and the body needs a food, so why are you eating? What's the satisfaction for neshama over here? What's the satisfaction for neshama? Right? The neshama, everything in this world, you have a ruchani v'gashmi, you have a spiritual and physical. So let's say a person eat a cookie or eat a steak, right? That steak or cookie, you have a gashmi v'ruchani. You have a spiritual and you have a physical. So the physical is going to go to the physical. Ruchani, which just means spiritual, is going to go to the spiritual, to the neshama. And that's how the neshama nourish in this world.
Enjoyment goes to the room?
You could say enjoyment, but the spiritual of it, the spiritual element, the spiritual, that goes to him. But the Masechet Pesachim says, not so, I think 49 or 54, one of the pages, says, Asur le'am haaretz. Somebody is not learning, Asur le'echol basar. He's not allowed to eat basar. So we say, what's the big deal? I eat meat. The Arizal says sometimes the Rasha will come in a gilgul, in a cow, and he will eat it, right? And he would not make a proper tikkun. He would damage his soul, it says. And he's not able to do mitzvot on other things. That's how he has all the bilbulim. So there's a reasoning why the Chazal says many things that they say, and we say, many times we say, it doesn't work in our times, it does not effective in our times, right? Like Torah, we could say elevators was not given, the Shabbat, everything, it's not. It's just straight up Amaratzut, which just means not learn. Even with the kippah, even with the piyot, not learners, unfortunately. So let's go forward. So every day we have a new nitzot that we have to separate between good and bad. I'm in a Yud, in page Nun Hey. Basot itaruta deleta. So it says we need to have a desire from down, from in this world. Tchila olim ela nitzuzot basot maim nukvin. So it goes also in a sod called maim nukvin. Maim nukvin, which means the waters from down. Waters from down, which means we need to put our effort and we need to put our effect in this world. If we're not going to put effect in this world, the world will going to make us to put an effect in this world. Which means, like I explained before, previously, a couple minutes ago, the klipa will come and make us to do things that we don't want to do, or we come out of our comfort zone. Whether right now we're going to give a prime example, Machshimam v'zichram, Amalek comes in, is a Hamas, right, and everything. That's a klipa. The klipa now dictates for us what happens through the klipa, like a Haman also is Amalek. Through klipa dictate to us how we're supposed to be doing our mitzvot. We're supposed to be united, we do a lot of kindness, we take more mitzvot, we're learning Torah without phone, right? We stop talking Lashon Hara, Ahava, V'achva, Shalom, V'riut, but we have to pay the toll. The toll we have to pay, 1,400 people got a slaughter, the war, there's more soldiers are dying. All these things happening, the reason is happening because the klipa now dictates before we dictate to the klipa. So either we're going to do it our choice, which is we do have our choice, or by force. Either way, that's the destiny. So people thinking, let's relax, let's have my own comfort zone. Then the klipa comes in. So that klipa, it's not pleasant, and it's not pleasant for Am Yisrael. So what we have to do, it's separation between good and bad. So let's go forward. Basod Maim Nukvin. We need to have a desire from this world, which means we need to arouse in ourselves is a ratzon. Ratzon, which means desire. I want to do everything with Hashem. Why can't we wake up in the morning and we say, I want to satisfy my boss, I want to satisfy my wife, we all the time say, or my husband, or whatever why can't we wake up and just say, how can I make HaKadosh Baruch Hu happy today? How come we don't wake up with that analogy? Modani lefanecha. I want to wake up, make HaKadosh Baruch Hu happy. How can I make him happy? What should I do? Mechapes, search, what can I do to make him happy? We look for happy to do people, basar v'dam, because we say we have to learn kamocha. This is fine. But what about HaKadosh Baruch Hu, make him happy? What should I do to make him happy? Very important. So niskar barashet tovod man. So it's all the time. Man is going to be maim nukvin. Ashchina kedusha nikret b'shem adanut. Shchina, he says, is considered as Shem Adanut. Adanut, which means Aleph Dalet Nut, which is one of the Shems that represents judgment. The Shchina represents the judgment. He says the Shechina, we say we all the time speaking about the Shechina. Vilna Gaon has a beautiful analogy. He says when a father and a husband and a wife, they have a children, and a child cries, who goes first to help the child to change whatever needs to be changed with it? The mother. So that's what the Shechina represents, is the mother. Is the mother that all the time that we say it's Shechina Batzar, Shechina Bagaluta. The Shechina is in an exile, right? The diaspora. So it says over here, we need to have all the time man. Man, which means ratzon, and a desire that how I'm able to bring the mitzvot to Hashem. V'hi ma'ala et aman lezatz letzorech hayichud. He says, anachnu, we are banim shel Rachel imenu. We are the children of Rachel. No. Why? Yaakov Avinu have a Rachel leyaz bilcha zilpa. Because the Yosef is considered, he was giving to everybody parnasa. It's considered kulam banim. He says Rachel mivaka ala banim. Rachel is crying for the kids. She only had two, but what about the rest of the shivatim? So we consider in the Lashon Kabbalah, we consider the children of Rachel. So we're gonna go to Rachel by our desire, through mitzvot maasim. We're going to la'alot man, and we're going to mechaber mazah, which is im zachar. Zachar and nakeva, which means the female or man, is going to get together. Once they get together, they're able to lo'olid, which means go future generation, giving born. So that's what the keep mitzvot doing it. We do it from downstairs. From upstairs, the shefa comes memele. Memele, which just means all we have to do is open all the time for Hashem machad. Machad, which just means a needle that is so small that we're able to do this mitzvot. Kedei lichaber im Hashem havaya. So he says we're gonna do man, me and you, everybody, from to that man, which is mean maim nukwim, which just means arousing from downstairs. Is gonna michaber shem adanut v'yud ke vavke. Now the chibur. So what does it mean? Adanut represents female, yud ke vavke represents male. Okay, shuhu baza v'al yedei michabrim shte shemot havaya v'adanut kazeh. So it's gonna be yud ke vavke is gonna be out, alif daled nun be inside. You see? Look at the book. It's called Zachar b'chutz v'nakiva mibafnim. So which just means yud ke vavke is outside, shiluf, which just means they're connected. Shiluf, which just means connection. How you translate on shiluf? Shiluf, which just means they interact. So it's considered shiluf. Chibur. Okay? ונעשה ייחוד העליון על ידי ייחוד נמשך למעלה שפע מים דוכרין. Now, because we did מים נוקבים, which is from downstairs, from our arousing, we're going to מקבל מים דוכרין. מים דוכרין. דוכרין, which just means the male waters. You have a female waters and a male waters. Female male waters, we all consider female. Not chas v'shalom, chas v'chalila, that people should get this message wrong. It's a female between chas v'shalom, gay and lesbian. Klepe HaKadosh Baruch Hu, towards the relationship between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we consider as a nakevod, as a female, because he's a giver. Between us, we have a husband and wife. Husband is a giver, is considered zachar. Wife is a taker, is considered nakeva. Or the Rebbe, or the teachers to the teachers, or the students to the students, or chaverim, this is considered maim nukvim, maim duchrin. Giver, which just means all the time has to be two-way street. There is no one-way street, which just means maim nukvim, maim duchrin.
So we're with Hashem considered female.
Man, we're gonna la'alod man. We're gonna take the man from downstairs arousing, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu lashpia lanu shefa al yedei mad maim duchrin. Okay, so it's called mad also. Man v'mad, not man that we accepted from the midbar, from the man that we ate. Okay, for 40 years. מזה נמשך כל מיני השפעות טובות לכל העולמות בפרט לבני ישראל הקדושים. He says everything hashpaot, all the shefa, all the abundance, everything that will bring into this world to Am Israel, and Am Israel would give to other nations, 70 nations in the world, or you want to call 120, 190, whatever it is, the whole world based on what we're learning right now, nourished through the Jewish nation. Like Masechet Sanhedrin, you don't need to go far away, 37, or what that says, Chayav Adam Lomar. A person must say every morning, Ha'olam nivra bishvili, a world was created for me. For the Am Israel, Banim atim la'Hashem Elokechem. For Am Israel was the world created. So if the world was created for Am Israel, so that's perfect. So depends on us and our behavior and everything that we do, the whole world gets nourished. So when the world have a problem by anti-Semitism, whatever you want to call it, there's a reason why they're saying what they're saying. Because back to the roots, with the roots, because the Hashem says you the root, you need to fix yourself. But we're saying, how come the Goy says, oh, I hate? According to Kabbalah, they're giving you message, because they cannot speak without Ribono Shel Olam. He's the creation of all the humans is creation of Hashem. We're not saying that Chas v'Shalom they created from monkeys. This does not exist. Created from Hashem. So all the humans was created from Hashem. So when the humans, other Gentiles or other nations saying to us things that they're not supposed to be saying, they're giving us a message. So if they're giving us a message, we don't understand it. We're thinking they're just acting on its own. It's not. They're acting because there's a message, the Klippa talking. All the Klippa, all the Goyim consider, compared to Jews, the Jews consider fruit. For on a fruit you have a cover. Right? The Arizal explains cover, Klippa. So the Arizal covers in a broad. How come you have Olam Atilu Briya Yitzra Asiya, like we said it before? How come you have like a shrubbery, right? you could able to eat with the klipa. How come? Because it says it comes from Olam HaBriyah. Certain fruits will come from Olam HaAtzilut. You could eat the inner and outer, which is they don't even have inside the seed. So there's a reason why certain fruits have a seed, certain fruits inside and outside, certain fruits we're able, like a pomegranate, we need to mamash. It says it's come from Olam HaSiyah because it fell down so to the klipa. That's why the klipa is so hard. Thick. Why? Because it's Olam HaSiyah. Olam HaSiyah rovolotov. So that's why it fell down. That's why we have to separate. So there comes Olam HaYitzirah. Mechza, 50-50. That means you have a seed inside and outside you could able to eat. From Olam HaBriyah, like an apple, you could eat it from outside, you could inside, but you have still inside a little bit giranim, which is seeds. So all these things, it has a reasoning why all these fruits or everything, anything in this world. So as we continue, so we have a mayim, duchrin, which means mad. מזה נמשכים כל מיני השפעות טובות לכל העולמות בפרט לבני ישראל הקדושים. The only way we want to do, HaKadosh Baruch Hu should give us השפעות טובות, we all the time have to do working on man. Man, which means, like the Zohar, it's the Lashon of the Zohar. It says, התעוררות ללטata. It says, from the arousing from over here in this world, we must do it. We must work. The more we work, the more we do birur, solidification between good and bad, the much greater the world will be, the much greater for the Am Yisrael is going to be, in hashpa'ot tovot. A person, a father, he's a millionaire or billionaire, and a son is not going on a path of the, whatever the path he needs to go to. Does the father is going to give him the money? No, because they're going to say the son is rebellious. It's enough that I'm giving whatever he needs to be to sustain. Same thing is for us, Elev Avdalot, HaKadosh Baruch Hu being, Kerachum v'chanun, he's merciful. But there's a time where we need to awaken. That's awaken, that's man. We must do man. Okay, continue. So it says over here, ויהיה נזכר פעמים רבות בביאור הפסוקים באופנים שונים בזוהר הקדוש כתבי אריזה, שזה העיקר תכלית עבודת בני ישראל בימי חייכם בעולם הזה. He says in the Zohar HaKadosh, in Arizal, the whole bottom line in this world, man and mad. That's the two entities that we have to work. That's the two entities that we have to work, solidification between good and bad. And that's what he says, עיקר התכלית עבודת בני ישראל בימי חייכם בעולם הזה. He says that's the תכלית, that's the bottom line. העניין הייחוד הזה נזכר הרבה פעמים בשם ייחוד סוד, יסוד ומלכות. He says a lot of times we see ייחוד, which just means together, getting together. Yisod v'malchut, which just means the two foundation, is Yisod, which just means the foundation, or Yisod that brings the Shefa, v'malchut is the earth that accepts the Shefa. כי היסוד הוא כולל בתוכו הערות 5 ספירות, שהוא עזה, לכן נחשב ככולם. So, 6 ספירות, I'm sorry. So it says Yisod, it says Yisod v'malchut לא מגר מכלום. He does not have from his own what the Shefa to give to people. So the Shefa needs to come from the Zah, which is Zerampin, we said represents also Vav, which is also represents Vav Kvutzot, which represents Chesed Gurat Feret, Netzach Chod, again Chesed Gurat Feret, Netzach Chod, Nichlal Batoch HaYisod. He's going to include inside the Yisod. And that Yisod is going to go to the Malchut, and that Malchut is going to give to the Am Yisrael. For example, if a person got married, he want to do Priya Urviyah, of course, right? He does this mitzvah. Where's the semen come? From the dad. From the dad, it goes through the spinal cord. From the spinal cord, it's going to go to the Yisod. From Yisod, it's going to go to the Malchut. Malchut is going to be the child. Then that's how the husband and wife become no more husband and wife. They become father and a mother. Excuse me, you're the same entity. You're a husband and wife. You're somebody else's son. Now you become yourself father and a mother. So later on they get married. They get grandfather. So the same entity who calls so many names. How come? Same thing, Kiviyachol is Hashem. He has so many names, but it depends how we interact and what's the interaction with the Jewish nation and for the whole world. So, go ahead, Duran.
So you could be labeled like a relative.
Correct.
You're an uncle, a cousin.
Like you, Ron, right? You have your husband. At the same time, you're a father.
Yeah.
At the same time, you're a son.
It.
At the same time, you're a friend.
Yes, yes.
At the same time, you are chavruta. But how comes one person, so many entities of name? It depends what's the entity. Do you act the same way like with everybody? No. You have a different. With the mother, you have a different understanding. With the husband and wife has a towards the kids. So same thing is over here. Sfira, each sfira, that's the way it works. So each one of us have individual, how we interact with each other. That's how we do hashpa'ah. Hashpa'ah, which is influence. Yes.
In Lag BaOmer, whenever they do sfirot corresponding to the day, it's also the same idea. No?
Hod, correct. So the same thing in the whole 7 weeks broke down to 7 sfirot. Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yisod, Malchut, and all the Chesed you have Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yisod, Malchut, which is called Hagadnaim. Hagadnaim shel Chesed, Hagadnaim shel Gvura, Hagadnaim shel Tiferet. So it's not the same thing that we did last year of the Omer. Don't forget, we're in a 5,784. So don't forget, this is the same. This is not the same Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet that you did. So it has the big influence on the month and the day and the hour that you do. So everything is bowed down to the time because we come here as a time. Like I said, it all has to do with the time. The more we do mitzvot, the more less the klip are gonna come in and gonna start dictating to us to do. But we're destined. Again, I said we're destined to do it. It's just God forbid it should not be by force. By force, it's not pleasant at all. It's not funny. People thinking it's gonna be funny. It's okay. It happened. It's just the nature. No. We came here to do job. We have the opportunity to learn this and to understand the depths of it. Why we come to this world. So, like we said it, apatoch hayisod, yisod v'malchut lo migar meklum. It's accepted from upstairs, which means from the Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yisod. Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod is going to be to Batoch HaYisod. Batoch HaYisod is going to go to the Malchut, and Malchut is going to give us that Shefa. So we're constantly looking for the Shefa. So it depends on us how much we're going to accept the Shefa. So it says, Kol HaShefa, so Gama Sfira Yisod hu ma'avir et Kol HaShefa nezerampin, za el HaMalchut. So that Zerampin, which means from Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, is going to go to the Yisod. From Yisod is going to go to the Malchut. It's like a relationship between a husband and wife. לכן אפשר כאילו היסוד הוא מתקן את המלכות. That's why it's considered Yisod is going to mitaken, which means it's going to fix the malchut. Fixing, when we're losing the terms over here, fixing, that means there's something broken that needs to be fixed. That's another way of understanding. Fixing, which means you're constantly giving shefa. That's considered fixing. When we're using the lashon, when we're using the language, mitaken, fixing, that means something broken, you need to fix. That means shefa constantly coming. So when we say mitaken, the shefa constantly needs to come. So it depends on us, depends on our deeds, depends on our talk, depends everything that we do in this life. Thank you for listening. Toda rabba l'akshava. Thank you for coming. יבעזרת השם בעם ישראל להצלחה, ברכה, בריאות, הרבה נחת וכן יהי רצון ונאמר אמן.
You said something about the shefa.
Right.
We are